Good morning, cross stitchers. This is Dina back again for my 5th video, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on some things that have been going on in my life and do possibly one of the tags that's going around. I'm excited to share with you today. I have a fully finished object, and this is a gift for a friend. They don't know it's for them, of course. So if they see this, hopefully they won't know it's for them, but I don't think they're watching. I'll show you the source of the pattern that I got. This is from Best Loved Hymns. It's America's Best Loved Hymns Collection 2. It's a Leisure Arts publication. And the one that I chose to do, you saw as a whip the last time. It's Blessed Be the Tie. It actually has the first few verses there, or sentences in the first verse, rather. And I have finished it and had it framed, and it's back from the frame shop. So I want to share that with you now. This is Blessed Be the Tie, and I'm trying to get the glare off of it. We always have. There we go. Always have a problem with that, don't we? Anyway, there's the finished product. I was very fortunate to find this frame at my local Hobby Lobby, and it was on sale for 50% off. And then when I got it framed, I was so excited to find out that I could get the glass added to it, and I had a coupon for 40% off on that. So I was able to afford this frame as part of my gift for my friend. So that was exciting for me. So that is the first Christmas present I've made for 2016. I usually start in January working on anything I'm going to make for my friends. So this one, I am thrilled to say, is done and put away. So I'm feeling really good about that. I usually don't get my first Christmas shopping finished or presents made till June, July, August time frame. So I think FlossTube has helped me tremendously to be accountable and start working on these whips on a rotating basis. Really paid off for me. So I just wanted to share that with you. I have a tag I wanted to do today. It's a Dale's for Reals tag, and I look kind of silly saying for reals in front of everything, so it's just not my personality. Adele, I'm sorry. You can pull it off. This old lady can't. But I will answer your questions because I think it's a very charming tag. What level of stitcher do you consider yourself to be? I would say because I've been stitching for many years doesn't make me any certain level of stitcher. I think it's what you've grown into, what you've progressed through. I have progressed through Aida and then other fabrics, linens, even weaves, and I have sewn on clothing with the pull away stitching guide. So I think I've done several different types of fabrics, so I've learned a bit about that. However, I have done beading, and I have done specialty threads, and I have done some pretty unique pieces, but I have not yet done a full coverage. Don't know that I ever will. And I have not done many specialty stitches, just a few. So I would still say I'm an intermediate stitcher. I'm not by any means advanced or professional. I don't think of myself as someone who could teach someone else to do special things. I can teach basic cross stitching. I can teach French knots. I can teach how to do, most of your typical cross stitch, back stitch, half stitch, quarter stitch, all of that, no problem. But I haven't done enough with the specialty stitches to feel that I could teach anybody. I would absolutely still be the student in that case. And I think that's exciting for me, that I have a hobby that I can continue growing in as the years go by. That's wonderful to me. I won't get bored. So that's good. How many whips and UFOs do you really have? And how many have you thrown out? That's hard. I've been stitching so long, I really had to think about that for a little while. One UFO. It is a Christmas stocking that I started for my son's girlfriend. when he had told me he was going to ask her to marry him, I started her Christmas stocking because it takes a long time. And I got about 3/4 of it done, including her name on the stocking. And they decided it was a mistake and they weren't going to get married, and broke his heart and mine because I think I loved her as much as he did. But I've kept it, and I'll frog out the name because the stocking is beautiful and it matches our family stockings that I've made, and I'll keep it. And someday, hopefully, when he finds the right person, I will be able to finish it and put the right name on it. So that is a UFO, hopefully to become a whip someday. It is the only UFO I have. I do have, I'm counting over here to the side because I have something to show you in a minute. I have 4 whips at the moment. Yes, 4. And that's basically what fits into my rotation on a normal basis. And I chuckle when I think of that because I just started a rotation in January, so I'm still very new at that. Am I enabled easily? Yes. Since I've been watching FlossTube, I have ordered hand-dyed fabric for the first time. I have gone on eBay and ordered patterns and supplies that I never shopped on eBay before. I didn't buy a lot before because I didn't cross stitch enough to really need too much other than thread for my stash. So I have been stitching from stash now for a couple of years, and it has been exciting to go out and see what's new out there. So I've been enabled to learn, I guess, what's out there that I didn't know about, and that's a good thing. Do I suffer from SADD, Stitcher's Attention Deficit Disorder? I must move on to the next project. No, I don't. I prefer to work on a project for a length of time, because once I get into it and I get back used to the pattern and I start stitching on it and I see progress, I get excited. And this is probably because I started out as a single project stitcher. That's all I did, was one thing at a time until it was finished. In fact, as I said in my very first video, it was a big treat to get to start something new because it meant I had just finished something. I do find, though, since I've started a rotation and I have 4 whips and I work on them a week at a time when they come up in rotation, that gives me enough time to really get with the pattern, to enjoy it, to see progress. And I'm beginning to find that when I get to the end of the week, I'm excited about putting it away for a few days and picking up my next whip for the next week. I look forward to it. And then when I finish working on that for the length of time I've established in my rotation, I seem to be looking forward to the next thing. So I have been stitching far more than I ever had before, ever since I started the rotation. It has truly changed the way that I stitch. But I don't suffer from attention deficit disorder. I don't have to move to the next project every day or even parts of a day. I don't know that I could comfortably do that. I would feel frustrated if I had to start something and put it away so quickly. So that's just the way I am. I'm different than a lot of others who have a lot more energy and can split their attention between many more things. I find that a little nerve-wracking. So I think I've hit what works well for me, and I'm happy about that. Have you ever finished a full coverage piece? No, I've never attempted one. I've been on the websites. I've looked at several that I find beautiful, and I'm thinking someday I might want to try one, but I haven't gotten the bug yet. And I think partly that's because I have so many things left on my to-do list, my wish list, that I already own, that I want to work through some of that. And I want to get some of those things accomplished that I've been holding on to for a while. And I've just started doing that this year, so that'll be good. Do you enjoy confetti? Yes and no. I love very intricate patterns. I love the Mirabilias. I love the butternut roads. I love even the one that I just finished was very intricate. It was a simple pattern, but it had a lot of colors and a lot of changes. And in the garland in particular was highly confetti. Flower petals, the flower centers, the 3 different colors of leaves in that really tight space. It was confetti heavy, but it's beautiful. And it wasn't so much of it that it drove me crazy. Now, when I don't like confetti is when there is so much of it that you don't feel like you get to stitch more than a few stitches before you change your thread again. And when I find myself in a situation like that, I tend to move into cross-country stitching and do as much of that confetti as I can in that color before I change, just to give myself a little more breathing room. Or I start the parking method, which I just learned since watching FlossTube, and that helps a bit, I find, as well. Until I get too many threads, and then I have to cross-country a bit. Get rid of some of those threads that are bothering me. Are you bothered by my answer in the question number 7 about, no, I'm not. How many finishes do you have this year, and how does this compare with how many whips I have? I have had 3 finishes this year, and I have 4 whips, so I think I'm doing pretty well. I'm trucking along, and that's fine, because most of what I do is intricate patterns. I don't do a lot of small things, and I may need to introduce at least one small thing at a time in my whips. And I think I've done a little bit better job of that this year. But no, I'm not bothered by that at all. Do I have any stitching confessions or dirty little secrets? Don't we all? I guess probably one of my biggest secrets is that there's probably an error in everything I do. In every FFO, there's probably somewhere in there that I could point out to you if I were forced to, where I got off count by 1 stitch, or I did one color wrong for 1 stitch or something, and I've been able to, either by the time I found it, it would require so much frogging that I just dealt with it and left it alone if you couldn't tell it, or if I've gotten off severely enough that I've had to regraph part of the pattern, I've been known to do that rather than frog it. I just hate frogging. I do it, but I hate it. So probably my dirty little secret is that anything I've done still probably has an error in it by the time I finish it, but it's something only I would notice because I know the pattern. And if you're looking at the piece of work, you'd never be able to tell it unless you've done the pattern. So I think it's pretty safe to say everything I have has at least something wrong with it. For Relz, show me your messiest back. Okay. I have, for the first time, started the parking method on this whip, and it, therefore, has most definitely my messiest back. So I'll share it with you. This is, and I'll go ahead and show you my progress on this while I have it out, too. This is my Smoky Mountain Christmas, and this is the back to that. And that would be my messiest back. My backs are usually pretty good. I don't worry about them. They just turn out that way. I guess it's the way I stitch. So while I have this out, and that's the end of that tag, I'll show you this whip. What a great segue. I wish I had planned it that way. This is Smoky Mountain Christmas. And when I started on this project, I had cross-stitched over to this point right here. I had all of this here done. So in this week that I've been working on this whip, I've done these rows from here down, this little section right here. And notice where before it would have just had the nose of the bear when I was finished, I waited until this week and then I started the bear so that I could get more of it all together at one time. So I've got the bears started, and I think they're precious. So that's Smoky Mountain Christmas. I worked on this yesterday for 9 hours, off and on during the day. My son and husband were off at the movies while we went to church that morning. But when we got home, after lunch, I started on this. And as a part of a sale on the Cross Stitch and Discuss, I saw it come across on Saturday. What is your current whip that you're going to work on today or Sunday? And so I said, well, this is what I'm working on. This is my whip for this week. So I just put my picture in as my starting point for that day. And then at about 11:30 last night, I put my ending picture in for that whip. And then packed it away so it would be ready for my next rotation. Sorry, I'm gonna hear a crinkle now because I'm storing it. Oh, I put it back away. Okay. This is what I'm storing my whips in. I have it in a plastic bag for my fabric. And then I have this little case that I put everything in, my threads, my pattern. Sometimes my hoop is still in there. And I'm stored in my little stacker tray, which I'll share with you in a minute, because one of the brand new floss tubers had asked that we help her come up with some ways to store her whips because they're in her kitchen cabinets and she can't put her dishes up. So I wanted to share that with her today as promised. So in a moment I'll share what I keep my whips in. But for the next piece I want to share with you is my new start. Since I had finished this rotation, I was able to have a new start. So I went through my pending things of what I wanted to do, and I have another Christmas present that I want to make. So I went ahead and got started on it. And this is called Apple Harvest. This is the picture. This is from For the Love of Cross Stitch, and it's in a September 1996 issue. I have a lot of old magazines, and I just keep them because I have things in them that I want to do someday. So I actually gridded and started this project and worked on it for about 2 days that were left on my rotation when I had my finish. So I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that start. I think that's a pretty good start. And I'm excited to tell you this gridding went really well. I used that silky sliver for the first time, and I love it. I will probably not ever use the red Easy Guide real thick, feels like fishing line anymore, which is what I am using on the wedding. That's a whip of mine that you've seen. This is so much thinner, and it's so easy. It's just so flat. Looks great. It's easy to do. It's easy to work with. It is slick, but if you tie it to your needle, it doesn't come out so bad. So I learned that. I will tell you that. But Apple Harvest designer is Janet Oxford Yearby. And the size of this will be 161 stitches wide by 41 stitches high. And I started it on March 5th. So we'll see how that goes. It is on 28 count ivory even weave. And we'll continue working on that on the next rotation. Again, here's one of my project totes. So what I want to talk to you about next is just a bit of a haul. I haven't bought a lot of things lately, but I have bought a little bit. So I want to share that with you. I've been seeing this in a lot of people's work, and they talk about theirs, and I decided that I might try one as well. So I ordered a tacky bob. So when I start my next beading on the wedding or my memorabilia that's I'm going to show you today, I'll have this to try. So I have my tacky bob, my first one. I'm excited about that. And then, as I said, I was on eBay. I went looking for something very specific, and I found it. This is what I went looking for. I have a friend who loves cats, loves them. She has 4 or 5 cats, I think. One is an outside cat, and the rest live inside with her. She has black cat with white. She has the little orange stripe, and she has a gray one, and a Siamese, long-haired sort of Siamese that lives outside. Anyway, this was just so cute. I loved it, and I went looking for something to do for her for Christmas that had to do with cats. And what better than to have the cats and then their tails making the word love. I just thought that was so cute. It came with the floss, and it came with Ada, which I will substitute out for something else. But it's a precious picture, and my thought right now is that I'll stitch it, and then I may make it into a tote bag for her. We'll see. I'm going to do something that she can either put up in her home or something that she can carry and enjoy. So I went looking for that, and I found it, and I was really happy about it. It was not very expensive, and I got it, and so now that will become a whip pretty soon. But while I was there, I couldn't resist looking at the memorabilias, and I found this one. This is Ashley's Roses. I know y'all have seen it 100 times. I love it. It's just beautiful. I love the red, white, and blue on it. I just think it's so pretty. So I had to get that for my stash. And I'll be starting that at some point. But I just went ahead and picked it up. I thought it was awesome. So that is my haul. I don't have any progress to show on the wedding yet because it's coming up in my rotation today. And I actually will be working on it for the next 2 weeks. It's the one I have that I'm dedicated to finishing hopefully by June. And it's a lot of work, and I'm not sure I'm going to make it. So I'm going to give it a good 2 weeks to see how it looks. So I wanted to mention that I'm going to be participating in a SAL, again with Cross Stitch and Discuss, about a weekly push. So it's for March 14th through the 18th. So I have taken a picture of where I am on my wedding, whip, and I'll insert it for you here. And I will be happy to show you in my next video how far I got. I'll be posting it online as well, but for those of you who might not be there watching that, I will share it with you in my next video. So if you will bear with me to move the camera, I will share with you now a little bit about my storage container and whips, how I store my whips. This is for our new friend from Floss Tube, who's asking for assistance in how to store hers. She's from Iowa, and she's asking for us to help her to come up with some ideas for herself. Here is the stand. This might be a little bit better picture for you than what I was trying to get while I was holding the camera with the image reversed. So this is what it looks like, and all of those are full of my projects or projects that I want to kit up soon. It's just a plastic cabinet. It has these little shelves in it with these containers. The little containers come out, and then I can open them up and take out my whip. Then when I'm through with it, I close it back up. Put it back away, and we're all good. And it's on wheels. Has little things in the back so it won't fall out, but I can wheel it. Wheel it around, store it where I need to. So that kind of shows you what it looks like. The other part of the question from our friend there was, what do we do? Where do we stitch, and to show our stitchy spot? So I will do that as well, but I won't walk you there and make you seasick. Instead, I will insert some pictures and talk to you about it as I'm showing you my stitchy spot. This is where I store my sewing patterns and have my gift wrap stand. This is my stitchy spot. This is where I cross stitch. You can see my lamp that I use. This is my storage cabinet. This is where I keep my fabrics, my threads, my patterns, everything I'm going to need to cross stitch. I hope you have a wonderful stitchy week, and I hope that your stitching goes very well, that you don't have any frogs, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Happy stitching. Bye-bye.